Welcome back, fellow viewers, to our channel. Today, we are diving into a thought-provoking and increasingly relevant topic: the connection between porn addiction, regular porn viewing, dopamine, and dopamine receptors. In an era where adult content is more accessible than ever, it is crucial to understand the potential impact it can have on our brains and overall well-being. Porn addiction has become a growing concern in modern society, affecting individuals of all ages and backgrounds. It is essential to shed light on this issue, not to shame or judge, but to foster understanding and provide insights into the underlying mechanisms at play. To comprehend the relationship between porn addiction and our brain's chemistry, we must first explore the role of dopamine, known as the feel-good neurotransmitter. Dopamine plays a pivotal role in our brain's reward and pleasure pathways. It is the driving force behind our motivation, reinforcement, and the pursuit of pleasurable experiences. Dopamine is released when we engage in various activities like eating delicious food, exercising, or socializing. It reinforces these behaviors by creating a sense of pleasure and satisfaction. However, certain stimuli, such as pornography, can trigger a significant release of dopamine, leading to a unique set of challenges. When we view porn, the brain's dopamine release is intensified due to its highly stimulating and explicit nature. This surge in dopamine provides an immediate feeling of reward and pleasure. Over time, the brain adapts to this intense stimulation, seeking more novel and intense content to maintain the same level of dopamine release. This process is known as the novelty effect. Repeated exposure to high levels of dopamine from regular porn viewing can have profound implications. Our brain's delicate balance is disrupted, and dopamine receptors, responsible for receiving and processing dopamine signals, can become desensitized. This desensitization leads to a reduced ability to experience pleasure from everyday activities and may contribute to the addictive nature of porn consumption. Moreover, the changes in dopamine receptor density and function associated with porn addiction can have long-term consequences. Individuals may find it increasingly difficult to derive pleasure from non-pornographic experiences, leading to a narrowing of their reward system. This phenomenon, known as sensitization, can further perpetuate the addiction and make recovery more challenging. However, it is essential to remember that recovery is possible. Coping strategies, seeking professional help, and engaging in alternative activities are key steps in rewiring the brain's reward system. By consciously making choices that promote a healthy lifestyle and finding support in others who have experienced similar challenges, individuals can regain control over their lives and cultivate a more balanced relationship with their own pleasure and satisfaction. Section 1. Understanding porn addiction. Porn addiction is a behavioral addiction characterized by compulsive and excessive consumption of pornography. It involves a loss of control over one's porn viewing habits, leading to negative consequences in various aspects of life. Understanding the prevalence and impact of porn addiction is crucial in addressing this issue effectively. The prevalence of porn addiction has risen significantly in recent years, largely due to the widespread availability and accessibility of adult content through the internet. Research suggests that approximately 50% of internet users struggle with some form of problematic porn consumption. The potential negative effects of porn addiction on mental health, relationships, and overall well-being are extensive. Here are some key points to consider. On mental health. Increased risk of depression and anxiety. Excessive porn viewing has been associated with higher levels of depressive symptoms and anxiety. A negative body image and self-esteem. Frequent exposure to idealized and unrealistic body types in pornography can contribute to body dissatisfaction and low self-esteem. The escalation of deviant sexual fantasies. Continuous exposure to explicit and extreme content can lead to the development of distorted or deviant sexual fantasies. 2. Relationships. Intimacy and sexual dysfunction. Porn addiction can disrupt intimate relationships, leading to decreased sexual satisfaction, emotional disconnection, and erectile dysfunction. Increased conflict and infidelity. Excessive porn consumption may contribute to relationship conflicts and increase the likelihood of infidelity. 3. Overall well-being. A decline in productivity. Porn addiction can negatively impact academic or professional performance due to excessive time spent consuming adult content. A social isolation. Individuals with porn addiction may withdraw from social activities, leading to feelings of isolation and loneliness. A distorted perception of sex. Regular exposure to pornographic material can skew one's understanding of healthy sexual relationships and consent. To emphasize the significance of the issue, let's consider some relevant statistics and research findings. A study published in JAMA Psychiatry found that frequent porn users showed decreased brain activity in regions associated with reward processing, which suggests potential desensitization to natural rewards. According to a meta-analysis published in the journal Sexual Medicine Reviews, problematic porn use is associated with a higher likelihood of experiencing sexual dysfunctions, such as erectile dysfunction and delayed ejaculation. The National Center on Sexual Exploitation reported that 64% of divorces in the United States are linked to excessive porn consumption by one partner. A survey conducted by the British Association for Sexual Health and have revealed that 45% of respondents seeking treatment for compulsive sexual behavior identified pornography as a factor contributing to their addiction. These statistics and research findings highlight the significance of porn addiction as a widespread issue with far-reaching consequences. By raising awareness and understanding, we can work towards creating a more supportive environment for individuals struggling with this addiction. In the next section, we will explore the role of dopamine and its connection to porn viewing, providing further insights into the addictive nature of pornography. Section 2. Introduction to dopamine and its role. Dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter, plays a crucial role in our brain's reward and pleasure pathways. Understanding its function is key to comprehending the connection between dopamine, porn addiction, and our brain's response to stimuli. Dopamine is a chemical messenger, or neurotransmitter, that carries signals between nerve cells neurons in the brain. It is involved in various cognitive, emotional, and motor functions. One of its primary roles is to facilitate communication in brain circuits that regulate motivation, reward, pleasure, and reinforcement. When dopamine is released in specific brain regions, it creates a sense of reward and pleasure. This, in turn, motivates us to seek out activities or behaviors that trigger its release. Dopamine acts as a form of positive reinforcement, reinforcing behaviors that lead to pleasurable experiences. For example, when we eat delicious food, dopamine is released, creating a pleasurable sensation and reinforcing the behavior of eating. Similarly, engaging in exercise, spending time with loved ones, or achieving a personal goal can trigger dopamine release, reinforcing those activities and motivating us to repeat them. The influence of dopamine extends beyond physical pleasures. It plays a role in the anticipation and prediction of rewards, driving us to seek out experiences that offer a potential reward. Dopamine encourages us to pursue goals, explore new possibilities, and seek novelty in our lives. However, it is important to note that dopamine itself is not solely responsible for pleasure. It acts as a signaling molecule, indicating the potential for reward or pleasure. The actual experience of pleasure involves the interplay of various neurotransmitters and brain regions. Understanding the role of dopamine in everyday activities helps us grasp how it can become involved in addiction. When certain stimuli, such as pornography, trigger a surge of dopamine release, it creates a heightened sense of reward and pleasure. This intense dopamine release can have a powerful impact on the brain, influencing our behavior and shaping addictive patterns. In the next section, we will delve deeper into how dopamine interacts with porn viewing, uncovering the connection between porn addiction and the brain's reward system. Section 3. The role of dopamine in porn viewing. When it comes to porn viewing, the brain's dopamine release is significantly increased compared to other everyday activities. This heightened dopamine response plays a critical role in the addictive nature of pornography and the reinforcing cycle that can develop. Pornography can lead to increased dopamine release in the brain through several mechanisms. 1. Intense stimulation. Pornographic content often contains explicit and highly stimulating imagery or scenarios. This intense stimulation triggers a substantial release of dopamine, creating a powerful sense of reward and pleasure. 2. Novelty effect. The human brain has a natural inclination towards novelty. When exposed to new or novel stimuli, such as novel pornographic content, dopamine release is further amplified. This novelty effect contributes to the heightened pleasure and reinforcement associated with consuming new or different pornographic material. The combination of intense stimulation and the novelty effect creates a potent cocktail for dopamine release during porn consumption. However, this heightened dopamine response can lead to a reinforcing cycle that fuels the addiction. 1. Dopamine reinforcement. The intense dopamine release during porn viewing reinforces the behavior, creating a strong association between consuming pornography and experiencing pleasure. This reinforcement strengthens the brain's neural pathways associated with porn consumption. 2. Tolerance and desensitization. Over time, the brain can become desensitized to the same level of dopamine release from repetitive porn viewing. This desensitization leads to a diminished pleasure response, requiring individuals to seek out more intense or novel content to achieve the same level of dopamine release as before. This phenomenon is known as tolerance. 3. Escalation and seeking novelty. To overcome the tolerance and maintain the desired level of dopamine release, individuals may progressively seek out more explicit or extreme forms of pornography. This constant search for novelty and intensity creates a reinforcing cycle, as the brain seeks higher levels of dopamine release through ever more extreme stimuli. The reinforcing cycle between porn viewing, dopamine release, and seeking more intense or novel content can contribute to the development and maintenance of porn addiction. It can lead to a distorted perception of sexual experiences, an increased preoccupation with pornographic material, and difficulties in experiencing pleasure from non-pornographic activities. In the next section, we will explore the impact of porn addiction on dopamine receptors and sensitization, shedding light on the long-term effects of excessive porn consumption on the brain's reward system. Section 4. Dopamine receptors and sensitization. Dopamine receptors play a crucial role in the brain's response to dopamine, as they receive and process the neurotransmitter signals. Understanding the impact of repeated exposure to high levels of dopamine, such as from regular porn viewing, on dopamine receptors is key to understanding the addictive nature of pornography. Dopamine receptors are proteins located on the surface of neurons in the brain. They come in different subtypes, including DON, 2, 3, 4, and 5 receptors. These receptors are responsible for receiving dopamine molecules and transmitting signals within the brain. When exposed to high levels of dopamine, such as during repeated porn consumption, dopamine receptors can become desensitized. Desensitization refers to a reduced sensitivity or response to a particular stimulus. In the context of dopamine receptors, desensitization occurs when these receptors become less responsive to dopamine, requiring higher levels of dopamine release to elicit the same level of response. This desensitization of dopamine receptors contributes to the development of tolerance. Tolerance occurs when the brain adapts to the consistent presence of high dopamine levels and requires increasingly intense stimuli to achieve the same level of dopamine release and subsequent pleasure. In the case of porn addiction, individuals may find that their previous level of pornographic content no longer produces the same level of pleasure and seek out more extreme or novel material to compensate. The concept of tolerance and the need for more intense stimuli to achieve the same level of dopamine release is similar to what occurs in other forms of addiction. Just as individuals with substance addictions require higher doses to achieve the desired effect, individuals with porn addiction may require more explicit or extreme content to experience the same level of pleasure. It is important to note that the desensitization of dopamine receptors and the development of tolerance are adaptive responses by the brain. They occur as a result of consistent exposure to high levels of dopamine, such as from regular porn consumption. However, these adaptations can have long-term consequences on an individual's ability to experience pleasure from non-pornographic activities and can contribute to the addictive cycle of seeking more intense stimuli. In the next section, we will delve deeper into the impact of porn addiction on dopamine pathways, highlighting the potential long-term effects on an individual's well-being and ability to experience pleasure. Section 5. The impact of porn addiction on dopamine pathways. Porn addiction can have significant long-term effects on dopamine pathways in the brain. Understanding these effects is crucial in grasping the implications of excessive porn consumption on an individual's ability to experience pleasure and satisfaction from non-pornographic activities. Research studies have provided evidence of changes in dopamine receptor density and function in individuals with porn addiction. These changes can have profound consequences on the brain's reward system and overall well-being. 1. Dopamine receptor density. Studies have shown that individuals with porn addiction may exhibit lower dopamine 2 receptor density compared to non-addicted individuals. This lower density is associated with reduced sensitivity to dopamine and has been linked to reward deficiency syndrome, which can contribute to addictive behaviors. 2. Reward circuitry alterations. The brain's reward circuitry, which involves dopamine pathways, can undergo alterations due to porn addiction. These alterations can disrupt the normal functioning of reward processing and lead to a diminished ability to experience pleasure from everyday activities. 3. Hypofrontality. Hypofrontality refers to reduced activation in the prefrontal cortex, a brain region involved in decision-making and impulse control. Studies have found that individuals with porn addiction may exhibit decreased prefrontal cortex activity, impairing their ability to regulate impulsive behaviors and making it more challenging to resist the urge to consume pornography. The changes in dopamine receptor density and alterations in reward circuitry can significantly impact an individual's ability to experience pleasure and satisfaction from non-pornographic activities. With diminished sensitivity to dopamine, activities that previously provided enjoyment may no longer elicit the same level of pleasure. Furthermore, the reinforcing cycle of porn addiction, where individuals seek more intense or novel content to achieve the desired dopamine release, can further narrow the brain's reward system. This narrowing can result in a decreased interest or motivation for non-pornographic activities, as they may no longer provide the same level of reward or pleasure. The implications of these changes extend beyond the realm of sexual experiences. They can affect various aspects of life, including relationships, work, and overall well-being. Difficulty experiencing pleasure from non-pornographic activities may lead to decreased satisfaction in interpersonal relationships, reduced motivation in pursuing personal goals, and a sense of disconnection from the world. Recognizing these potential long-term effects highlights the importance of addressing and seeking help for porn addiction. By seeking professional support and engaging in strategies to rewire the brain's reward system, individuals can work towards reclaiming their ability to experience pleasure from a broader range of activities and fostering healthier relationships. In the next section, we will provide practical coping strategies and discuss the path to recovery for individuals struggling with porn addiction. Section 6. Coping strategies and recovery. Overcoming porn addiction requires a comprehensive approach that combines practical strategies, professional help, and a commitment to rewiring the brain's reward system. Here are some practical tips and coping strategies for individuals struggling with porn addiction. 1. Recognize and acknowledge the problem. Admitting that there is a problem is the first step towards recovery. Acknowledge the negative impact of porn addiction on your life and commit to making positive changes. 2. Seek professional help and support. Consider reaching out to a therapist, counselor, or addiction specialist who can provide guidance and support throughout your recovery journey. They can help you understand the underlying factors contributing to your addiction and develop strategies for overcoming it. Support groups, such as Sex Addicts Anonymous or Smart Recovery, can also provide a safe and understanding environment to share experiences, gain insights, and receive support from others facing similar challenges. 3. Create a supportive environment. Surround yourself with supportive and understanding individuals who can provide encouragement and help you stay accountable. Communicate your struggles and recovery goals with trusted friends or family members, as their support can be invaluable. 4. Establish healthy habits and routines. Engage in regular physical exercise, which can boost mood, reduce stress, and provide a healthy outlet for energy. Practice stress reduction techniques, such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, or mindfulness, to manage triggers and cravings effectively. 5. Engage in alternative activities. Discover and engage in new hobbies or activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. This helps redirect your focus and rewires the brain's reward system to derive pleasure from non-pornographic sources. Cultivate meaningful relationships, spend quality time with loved ones, and prioritize social connections. 6. Set realistic goals and track progress. Establish realistic short-term and long-term goals to measure your progress. Celebrate each milestone achieved and use setbacks as learning opportunities rather than reasons to give up. 7. Utilize technology and tools. Use technology to your advantage by installing website blockers or content filters that limit access to pornographic material. Explore apps or online platforms specifically designed to support individuals in their journey to recovery from porn addiction. Remember, recovery is a process, and it may involve setbacks along the way. Be patient, kind to yourself, and persevere through challenging moments. With dedication, support, and the implementation of healthy coping strategies, it is possible to break free from porn addiction and reclaim a fulfilling and balanced life. Thank you for joining us on this important exploration. If you found this video informative, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more valuable content. Remember, your well-being matters. Take care of yourself, cultivate healthy habits, and prioritize self-care. Together, we can create a supportive and understanding community. Take care, and be well.